Best times to make dua. There are certain times dua supplication is more likely to be accepted by God the Most High, as mentioned by Prophet peace and blessings be upon him. These times are as follows. The last third of the night. Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, narrated that God's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "In the last third of every night, our Lord, cherisher and sustainer, descends to the lowermost heaven and says, 'Who is calling me so that I may answer him? Who is asking me so that may I grant him? Who is seeking forgiveness from me so that I may forgive him?'" Amr ibn Absa narrated that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The closest any worshipper can be to his Lord is during the last part of the night. So if you can be amongst those who remember God at that time, then do so." Second, late at night. When people are sleeping and busy with worldly pleasures, God the Most High gives the believers an opportunity or an answer hour if they can fight sleep and invoke the Almighty for whatever they need. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "There is at night an hour no Muslim happens to be asking God any matter of this world or the hereafter, except that he will be given it, and this occurs every night." Third, between Adhan and Iqamah. Anas, may God be pleased with him, narrated that the Messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "A supplication made between the Adhan and the Iqamah is not rejected." Fourth, an hour on Friday. Narrated Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, God's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, talked about Friday and said, "There is an hour on Friday, and if a Muslim gets it while offering prayer and asks something from God, then the Almighty will definitely meet his demand." And he, peace and blessings be upon him, pointed out the shortness of that particular time with his hands. Some have said that this hour is from the time the Imam enters the mosque on Friday's prayer until the prayer is over, i.e. between the two khutbahs, whereas others have said that it is the last hour of the day, i.e. after the afternoon prayer until the evening prayer. Fifth, while drinking Zamzam water. Jabir, may God be pleased with him, narrated that God's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Zamzam water is for what it is drunk for." This means that when you drink Zamzam water, you may ask the Almighty for anything you like to gain or benefit from this water, such as healing from illness, etc. 6. While prostrating. Abu Huraira, may God be pleased with him, narrated that God's Messenger's peace and blessings be upon him, said, "The nearest a slave can be to his Lord is when he is prostrating. So invoke, supplicate God the Most High much in it." When a Muslim is in his prayer, he is facing God, and when he prostrates, he is nearest he can be to the Creator, so it is best to invoke the Almighty at this time. 7th, when waking up at night. Narrated Ubadah bin As-Samit that God's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever wakes up at night and says, 'La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamd wa huwa ala kulli shayin qadir, alhamdulillahi wa subhanallahi wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah,' meaning none had the right to be worshipped by God. He is the only one who has no partners. He is the kingdom, and all the praises are for God. All the glories are for God, and none have the right to be worshipped but God. And God is the most great, and there is neither might nor power except with God." And then says, "Allahumma ighfirli," "O God, forgive me," or invokes God, he will be responded to, and if he makes ablution and performs prayer, his prayer will be accepted. Eighth, at the end of the obligatory prayer. Narrated Abu Umama, may God be pleased with him, that God's messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was asked, O messenger of God, which supplication is heard by the Almighty? He, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the end of the night and at the end of the obligatory prayer, i.e. after saying at-tahiyyat and before making taslim, finishing prayer. The ninth, the night of Qadr, decree. This night is the greatest night of the year. The Almighty said about these in the Quran, meaning, the night of Al-Qadr is better than 1,000 months. Surah Al-Qadr, Ayah 3. The night of decree is one of the odd nights of the last 10 nights of the blessed month of Ramadan. The angels descend down to the earth, and the earth is overwhelmed with peace and serenity until the break of the dawn. And when the doors of paradise are opened, the worshipper is encouraged to turn to God to ask for his needs for this world and the hereafter. 10th, during the rain. Narrated Sahel ibn Sa'd, may God be pleased with him, that the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, two will not be rejected. Supplication when the adhan, call of prayer, is being called, and at the time of the rain. 11th, the one who is suffering injustice and oppression. The messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said to Mu'adh ibn Jabal, may God be pleased with him, beware of the supplication of the unjustly treated, because there is no shelter or veil between it, the supplication of the one who is suffering injustice, and God. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, declared, three men whose dua is never rejected by God are the fasting person until he breaks his fast, in another narration when he breaks fast, the just ruler, and the one who is oppressed. The 12th, the traveler, parent supplication for child, and fasting person. The messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, three supplications will not be rejected by the Almighty. The supplication of the parent for his child, the supplication of the one who is fasting, and the supplication of the traveler. 13th, dua after praising God and giving salat on the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in the tashahhud at the end of the prayer. Narrated Fadala ibn Ubaid, may God be pleased with him, that the messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, when any one of you makes dua, let him start by glorifying his Lord and praising him. Then let him send blessings upon the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. Then let him pray for whatever he wants. 14th, the dua of a Muslim for his absent brother or sister Muslim, stemming from the heart. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no believing servant who supplicates for his brother in his absence, where the angels do not say, the same be for you. 16th, dua on the day of Arafah. The messenger of God, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the best supplication is the supplication on the day of Arafah. The day of Arafah is the essence and pinnacle of Hajj. On this great and momentous day, millions of worshippers gather together on one plain from every corner of the world with only one purpose in mind, to respond to the call of their Creator. During this auspicious day, God does not refuse the request of His worshippers. The 17th, dua during the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is a month full of many blessings. Thus, the dua of Ramadan is a blessed one. This can be inferred from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, when Ramadan comes, the doors of mercy, another narration says paradise, are opened, and the doors of hell are closed, and the shaitans are locked up. Thus, it is clear that dua during Ramadan has a greater chance of being accepted, as the gates of paradise and mercy are opened. 18th, when Muslims gather for the purpose of invoking and remembering God. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if a group of people sit together remembering God, the angels will circle them, mercy will shroud them, peace will descend onto them, and God will remember them among those with him. 19th, first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "There are no days during which good deeds are more beloved to God than during these 10 days. 20th, dua when the heart reaches out to God and is ready to be totally sincere. 21st, at midnight. Abu Umama, may God be pleased with him, said, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was questioned, which dua is heard by God? He, peace and blessings be upon him, answered, at midnight and at the end of every obligatory prayer.